volunteers, and Sawadika means hello in Thai. This is a short clip of the room that I stayed in during my volunteer stay. I was lucky enough to arrive a little earlier than most, so I actually got a bed, but a lot of the other volunteers actually had to sleep on the floor. The cot was pretty hard. It's definitely not what I was used to, my mattress at home, but it was a nice experience to live how the Thai people live. The night bazaar is similar to a swap meet or flea market that we have in America. I bought a lot of souvenirs here, and it was really fun to go at night, walk around, shop. They have a lot of good food vendors as well. I'm a bit of a shopaholic, so I really loved coming to the night bazaars. This is a short clip of me riding in a tuk-tuk, which is like a little taxi. It was a really fun experience. It's definitely something you have to do when you go to Thailand. Just you have to brace yourself because you're going pretty fast and no seatbelts. This is one of the schools I taught at. It is pronounced Bon Patwan School. At first, the kids can be a little shy, but they honestly really love Americans, and they have a lot of respect for the teachers. And they love being photographed, and they love selfies, which is very common to children in America. The children are taught to respect the teachers a lot. Every time we walked into a classroom, all the children stood up and would put their hands like prayer hands and would bow their head down to us, which is showing respect to their elders. This is a little game that me and my teaching partner came up with to teach the children the days of the week in a more fun and interactive way. Every time the ball would land on a person, who they would have to say the day of the week, and the last person to say the last day of the week, Sunday, would have to sit down, and then the game continued until the last person standing won the game. The kids really loved games like this, learning games like this. I learned that Thai people are so unbelievably friendly and kind-hearted. You walk into a store or a restaurant and people are just have a smile on their face, and they are so joyful and welcoming. They're also such giving people. I visited schools and was invited to people's homes, and many of the people are considered poor and they have very little, yet they were still so giving and welcoming to me and offering of the little that they did have. This day we taught the kids the seasons that they have in Thailand, which is usually summer, which is very hot, the rainy monsoon season where they get a lot of rain, and then in the winter it gets very cold and windy. So after we taught the seasons, they did a little drawing, coloring activity. A cultural similarity that I found interesting between Thailand and America was that most people are very considerate and open-minded to transsexual, transgender, and gay individuals. The ladyboy show is a very common cultural norm in Thailand that they're known for. It's when men dress up as women and they perform a drag show where they lip sing and they dance and to popular American songs, which is similar to drag shows that we have in America. And I thought this was cool because it gives you a global perspective, which is important because it's nice to know when you're traveling that you're going to a place that is accepting of your norms that you are used to, and that you're going to be surrounded by people who are open-minded to who you are, to being American, or whatever you may identify as. It's nice to know that you are safe and accepted there. We may have different cultures, languages, religions, climates, yet At the end of the day, we're all human beings, and all human beings deserve a proper quality of life and accessibility to the main necessities of life. But not only the main necessities do they deserve, I hope that one day every country will have access to the resources that we have in the United States. We need to see everyone as equally deserving of a good quality of life and health. It was truly sad, honestly, to say our goodbyes. We did get a little teary-eyed saying our goodbyes because the kids are just so sweet, and they were honestly so appreciative of us and what we taught them and meeting us, and it was a really beautiful experience, and it was touching how grateful and how nice they were to us. On my days off from working, I did get a chance to do some exploration of the temples. I went to, I think it was about like 7 temples throughout my entire trip. Each one increasingly more beautiful than the other. So different, all of them. They're just such a sight to see. All so different in their own way, and just unbelievably beautiful. The architecture and the details in every one of the temples. The most valuable take-home message that I got from this volunteer experience is to slow down. In America, we live so fast-paced. Everyone is so go, 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 and in a hurry, it seems. And the people in Thailand are not like that. They are so much more slow-paced, and they really enjoy the little things in life that we oftentimes take for granted in America. Their way of living is a lot more calm and relaxing, which I really thought was nice, and something that resonated with me, that I wish to be more like that in my everyday life. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in my to-do list and busy schedule that I don't realize that it's good to take it easy now and then. And I also realized how important it is to enjoy and appreciate the little things that life has to offer, and be more grateful and appreciative of everything I have, because I have more than I could ever ask for compared to many of the people that I met in Thailand. This experience has given me such an amazing appreciation of nature and natural beauty. It's allowed me to put into perspective that life isn't all about materialistic things and money, and that there are serious concerns and people who are really struggling to live each day, and there are people who have so little, yet they still are so unbelievably kind and giving of the little that they have to us. In comparison to American culture, is that they are extremely respectful and praiseful to their God, which is Buddha for most. They teach the children from a very young age to have respect for their elders and to always show respect to their God, and they pray before every meal, which I found was nice that they find this important in their culture. Thai people have the utmost respect for their God, like many Americans do, but it's to the point where you could actually be arrested for disrespecting their God or their culture. I saw signs in the flea markets saying if you purchase a Buddha, that is against the law and you could be prosecuted, because it's disrespectful to see the Buddha as a trinket or toy, because the Buddha to them is supposed to be something that is respected. It's not a toy. It's meant solely for worship and praise. This clip is actually at one of the nicer schools that I taught at, but the majority of the schools I taught at had very minimal resources for the students. They did not have many books or supplies, and due to this, many of the students lacked the ambition and motivation to want to learn. It really brought into perspective for me how I take so much for granted, and it opened my eyes to the rest of the world and how little resources many countries have and opportunities that are accessible to them and to children to be successful in comparison to the United States, where we have abundance of resources for students of low income to be successful. Um, there were a few children in the class that were very active participants and really tried their best and really wanted to learn and succeed. But the majority really didn't have the drive or interest to want to learn. I would say the younger kids tried a lot harder and showed more interest. But I did teach some older children, like high school and middle school age, and a lot of the boys, I would say, just didn't really show interest or try, which could be discouraging. But I know that I was impacting some children by being there and volunteering. Something that I learned from my host country was that Thai people are so unbelievably friendly and kind-hearted. You walk into a store, restaurant, and people are just so joyful and welcoming. They are also such giving people. I visited schools and was invited to people's homes, and many of them are considered poor and they have very little, but they didn't even give it a second thought to offer what they could to us, to show us how grateful they were. This trip was overall such a humbling experience. It made me feel so good to put a smile on so many kids' faces and teach them something new that they can hopefully use to be successful in their future. Most impactful experience that I participated in during my experience abroad would be my experience teaching English in very poor schools with the majority of students coming from low-income households. It was an impactful experience because I brought something to these children that they don't normally get or have access to. English is it's a universal language, and it's very important for children to learn it because that's how they will earn jobs in their future. In many places, if you don't know English, it's very hard for you to find a job because a lot of these countries depend on tourism for their income. So English is very important for children to learn. And the younger they learn it, the better it is for them. Another thing I also learned was that Thais are also very respectful of their king, in addition to their god, Buddha. In America, many people do not show respect to our president uh, because we have freedom of speech and that right, but in Thailand, they don't have such a thing. Um, I'm sure that there are some people who dislike their king or would prefer someone else to rule their country, but they would never speak their true feelings or protest or show any kind of disrespect to their king. And these differences make me realize how lucky and fortunate I am to live in the United States, where I have so many more rights and freedoms compared to the people in other countries. Overall, this experience was truly amazing. I got so much um, emergence in the Thai culture and knowledge that I never knew of before. I got to try some really great authentic Thai food. I experienced such beauty in nature and the little things in life without my television and my cell phone and social media access at the tip of my fingers. I got to live how Thai people live, which is so simplistic, and it was just such a great experience. I highly recommend anyone who's thinking of visiting Thailand to do it. It is such a beautiful place, so tropical. I went in the summer, so it was quite hot and humid. I wouldn't recommend going in June, which is when I went, which is monsoon season. So it's very humid, but definitely go. It's so beautiful. I got to experience so many beautiful places and saw so many animals, met so many great people, and I will cherish these memories forever.
Bye. Bye. Lunch?